let's do it. I'm Black Hannibal, running through your capital on elephants. Civilize a savage with my elegance. Militant intelligence, run through your defense. Strike like a ninja, slice, cut, and injure. Leave no prisoners, just bodies on the battlefield. I'm Spartacus with a sword and shield. Something like a marksman with cold blue steel. War paint on my face, keep my identity concealed. Advance on your camp like dozens of killer ants. Snatch your king like chess, checkmate, this is death. While my team have fun with your queen. Throw your bishops off the roof, your knights flee the scene. I plant bombs in the home of your pawns. The detonation shook the foundation of your rooks. Holding shotguns with double barrels. They impact so hard when it blasts through your body travels. Yeah. Street Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Burn your flag as I overthrow your government. New politics, no Democrats and Republicans. Spiritual systems built by wise men who's true in living. The foundation's no longer Christian. Teaching universally the wisdom of the nations. New currency, no more dollar bills with white faces. No more Caucasian domination. All races participating, cultivating education. The people hungry and they ain't waiting. No more debating. Let's overthrow the haven to Satan. This whole world needs some new changes. Rulers with new faces. It's time to take out the racists. Spartacus from the new ages. From the page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Spartacus from the new ages. From this page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Peace, power, and prosperity, everybody. Rob Blackstorm, what's going on? What's going on? Without further ado, I'm going to invite up my special guest today. I have Divine Feminine Works and Monique Ruffin.
Hello.
Welcome back to the channel, ladies.
Everybody.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you guys. It's been a long time. How's everybody doing?
You're doing good. Can't really complain.
Today. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so great. I am excited. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, I feel like I'm waiting on something. I feel something coming. I don't know what that means. I feel something coming through me. Like, the astrology makes me excited. Let me say it that way. When I read it, I'm like, oh, this shit is about to really shift for real. So that makes me excited.
Yeah, it's eclipse season. A lot is going to change. I've been saying that earlier this year. Nothing's going to be the same. Like, nothing's going to be like it was after this year. And there's a lot of things going on. A lot of wars, a lot of relationship changes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are taking themselves off the planet. Suicides have gone up recently, last couple of months. And, you know, it's just one of those times. Let's get into... I want to first start off with the sun being in Aries and the spring equinox that recently passed this Thursday, the 21st. We're in a brand new cycle of the year. It's currently 40 degrees here in New York, but we're supposedly in spring. And we literally went from like 60s, 50s to like 40s, 30s, winter style season. So what do you guys think about this spring, or any feedback on the spring equinox and the Aries season, coming into Aries season? What are you guys' insights?
I always love, like, whenever the seasons change, and by seasons, I mean the zodiacal seasons, whenever they change, you can always feel the energy shift. But there is nothing like the shift between Pisces and Aries. It's like literally to the day. Like, Pisces season, you tend to feel very lethargic. You know, you're kind of, resting, right? And then it never fails. Aries season starts that same day, and it's just like an Energizer Bunny kind of an energy. It's like a literal fire that's starting, and I love it. It's my favorite time of the year. It's when you really have this energy at your disposal to start something new. And I love how when you're just in rhythm with nature, how things just transpire. Because if you notice, the people who started doing their New Year's resolutions and whatnot in January, they've already burnt out. And the problem is they don't even have the energy to take advantage of the real new year right now. Like, they're kind of just tired, worn out, not demoralized, but no longer motivated. You know what I mean? But like the
Deflated. Your
Aries,
energy is deflated. It's
right?
deflated. Yes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's just Aries is just it's just that it's that excitement that Mo was talking about, that ability to create something new right now. So I don't know. I personally love it.
That was so good. I love how you talked about how you can feel it because Pisces energy, it's so funny this last Pisces season. Me and all my clients, everybody's like, I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy. Like we're sleeping 12, like go to sleep at night and then wake up, do a little bit, and then go back to
Go
sleep.
back to sleep.
Yeah,
Same.
that's a thing. That's definitely a thing because I've been feeling that myself. Yeah,
Yes, that's
I thought
very
it was just me.
Piscean. That's very Piscean. So what was the question? I'm sorry. I got so caught up in listening to
Yeah,
Mel.
basically any feedback or info to give the family about the Aries season and the spring equinox,
Oh,
the
okay,
energy.
great. Um, so not so we're in our we're in our normal cycle of like Aries starting, but we're also in a new era. Like this is really the jump start of a whole new era. Like we can't conceptualize what I'm actually saying, but let me do it this way. When we look at history and we look back and we see like I know one of the eras that I loved was like the Renaissance era for Black people and Harlem Renaissance and how jazz music was started and just all the things that came with that time period. We are in a new era. There is a new era on the rise, and it starts with the collapse of the old era, and we're seeing the collapse. We're seeing all the destruction and the wars and the deaths. People die because death is in the reality. It's a normal part of our experience. And so those people, it doesn't matter, I don't need to say that, but so what's going on now for those of us who are here, we're here for the new era. If you're here, you're here for the new era. How you know? Because you're here, right? So that's so exciting. And it's like, then tap into what Mel is saying. Like it at the deepest level of yourself, it's about asking, what do I really want to do? Aries energy is, with this Pluto going into Aquarius, is being deeply true to yourself from like the core, not from, okay, I'm sorry. I'm so excited. When I get excited like this, it's like I get manic. I'm sorry. I do
Turn
apologize.
up, Mo. Turn up.
Okay. Okay.
Do
So
not
here,
apologize.
right, okay. So this Aries energy with the age of Aquarius coming in is asking you to really have the courage to be profoundly true to yourself based upon what's trying to emerge from you. What I have seen in myself and I see in clients and things like that is we attempt to create who we are based upon, oh, if I have enough money to do it, or if I haven't, like we look outside of ourselves to determine if we are going to be capable of doing something rather than looking within and making ourselves the person that has the mechanics to be what we want to see out in the world. We're not trained to see it that way. Is what I'm saying making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we're not trained to see it that way. But that is what Aquarius is. Aquarius is the higher mind. So what that means at a practical level is that there is a divine voice inside of you telling you what the fuck to do. But are you listening? It's a nudge, it's a feeling, it's a are you paying attention, right? Because if you are, when this new energy comes, it's very subtle. It's like a baby. So you have to be listening to that high pitch frequency that says, do not do that thing you keep doing again. Don't do it. Go do something else. And when you go do something else, you begin to build the frequency to the new reality. And it's available now. Maybe we won't, we in the past we tried to do something and we think we failed at it, or oh, I can't do that again. Now is the time. It wasn't time yet. You were meant to try it and have it not work out, so that you could see what you could do and you could that what was working and what didn't, or so that you could see that you need to build your confidence, or so that you could see that you need a greater skill set in this, you need to get a little more information, you need some support. That's why it didn't work before, but now you give it another go because the energy is available now. And it just
Mhm.
requires that we believe in ourselves. Like, you have to be willing, you have to be like, I'm really curious what else I could be, or you know what I mean? Like, don't try to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. Take a fucking risk. Like, take a risk. Like, really, like, take a risk. And if it doesn't work, take another one, like regroup. And because we're in a whole new era, and something will catch, and the old stuff that you're holding on to, trying to play safe. Like, I talk to clients often who are like, don't want to leave their jobs, they're afraid to leave their jobs, right? And because of the money, and I'm always like, you don't have to just leave your job. What you have to do is prepare to leave your job.
Right.
Begin the preparation work. Don't just think like, oh, what I'm gonna. No, you too far ahead. What is it that you actually really are gonna do? What feels right. Do the preparation work, because in the preparation work you will become clearer of what it is that's actually calling you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to build it. Like, you have to show the universe that you are actually devoted to being different. And in that, the universe will give you more of what you need. But you can't have it all at when you're not capable of actually seeing the value of it. I hope I'm making sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
You
don't
are.
get it
Yeah.
before, right? So that's it. That's how I say that people should use this energy. And let me tell you, this Aries stuff. I'm listening to myself, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, Aries energy it's intense in me. Okay.
It
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
is, but
It's
it's
that
great.
Mars energy. Yeah, that Mars energy, that warrior energy. And I think a lot of it is, especially with when we think about spring, we're thinking about things sprouting, right? Things coming
Yeah.
up out of the dirt, so to speak, something
Yeah.
new flowers, new trees, new lives, right? New foliage, the insects and the birds and the bees are now returning from winter, right? So all these things are starting to come now into our circumference. So it's also us seeing what we went through the winter. If we did our winter solstice work, at the times
Mhm.
within the last 90 days, what we were trying to develop within ourselves, and now letting our inner light shine, so to speak. But to go with what you were saying, Mo, that has to deal with us stepping outside of our comfort zone, right? And your body is constantly trying to keep you in your comfort zone. That's what your body's designed to do, to have you comfortable, to keep you
Mhm.
in survival mode, to make sure that you're safe, to keep you rooted in who you were. So
Yeah.
essentially, you are going to, or you're going to war with yourself. The war is never external, the war
That's
is
right.
always internal. Even if
That's
there's an
right.
external war outside,
That's
you
right.
still have to have the warrior mindset. Oh, okay, this is the strategy I'm going to use for this. So, for example, getting out of your job, right? What strategy am I going to use first and foremost? You have to have a strategy first before you make that move, and a plan and a map to where you're going to go, which is what the winter season was for. But if you didn't do it, now is also a good time, because we're having this full moon in Libra, to tap into that energy to see how you will serve, what type of energy you're going to put that out there. But first and foremost, you have to be willing to step out of who you were to become who you are. And that is the high level spiritual being that we are trying to grow into, or trying to develop through doing this type of work. Because without us tapping in and making a change, and this change is not something that's like a 1 day thing, it's
Mhm.
something that occurs gradually through us doing the ritual work, through us doing the daily work of coming into our highest self. So as things are becoming new, the energy is now channeling us to seek something new in our lives and make new steps. Let's get into the
Well,
full moon.
I
Go
wanted to
ahead,
add
Mel.
one more thing.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Because both of you inspired me with something that just came through. So, spring equinox, Aries, new beginnings, right? It's like now you're planting new seeds. understand that seeds already come coded with their end result from the beginning. And that's to say that what you truly desire, who you truly are, is always within you. And it's like that's what you're naturally coded to. Typically, it's your environment that changes that coding, that changes how the result is going to come to pass. However, because we're in such a unique time right now where the sun is not only in Aries, but also the North Node is in Aries right now. It's
And
like
Mercury,
that,
and Mercury,
and Mercury, right? So this is becoming
and Chiron, and
cognizant,
Chiron.
right? Exactly. This is becoming very cognizant of what that original coding is. So many people are becoming awake to not only who they truly are, like wounds and everything and all, but what they truly want. Like so many of us want things because we were conditioned to want them or everyone else has them. But now is the unique chance. I'm talking about right now. Is the
Yeah.
unique chance for you to be exactly not only who you want to be, but who you are meant to be. So it's a beautiful time to discover yourself. And like Rob said, that winter solstice, that winter time was meant to go within to get reacquainted with that person, to understand that coding. And now it's like you're in bloom. Now it's like everything is rising from the soil in the way that it was truly meant to. So everyone has this unique opportunity to do that. However, depending on your environment, depending on the soil, depending on the water, that coating, whatever's coming out the ground right now, may not exactly be who you truly are. So it's really that introspection doesn't stop right now just because this is go time. It's like, okay, I'm taking action toward this thing, but I'm also like course correcting at the same time. But it's a unique opportunity for us to really be who we are right now. And I think that's so beautiful about this particular Aries season.
Thank you, Rob. Can you please play the shout music right now on what she just said? That was that was that
I
was
got the one.
like we need the Jesus shout music. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh
dun.
yeah, I got that. I'll have that for next time.
Okay.
I'll program that
Yes, man,
one.
that was amazing.
Yes, for sure, for sure, for sure. And it's about embracing the challenges too, the challenges that are going to pop up this season, for all of us that, with growth, there's going to take some stretching, there's going to take some expansion, and it's going to be where there's going to be things that may be blindsiding us, especially being that it's eclipse season. These are powerful energies, a solar and a lunar eclipse, Aries season, all this energy that's compounding. Most people that don't do this work are not really going to know what's going on. So they're going to be challenging you, right? They're going to be challenging us in ways that we may have seen, we may have not seen, our relationships, and not just intimate relationships, but people at work, people that we're around, people that we may not even know are going to be challenging us to be our true divine selves. And are we going to act this way? Are we going to show our true character, or are we going to revert back to who we were, or fall into the crowd, or be who we normally are? So I think right now is a very, very, very powerful time, but it's a very interesting time if you're not doing the work. And it could be a time that you'll be lost out here, searching and following whatever distraction you can because you don't want to do the work for yourself, because that energy has to go somewhere. But that energy is in all of us, and it is prompting all of us to rise. That calling is going to keep calling no matter what. No matter how long you distract yourself, that calling is always going to keep calling you until you pick up and answer and do what needs to be done.
Very true.
Any
Oh, so
any
good.
any interesting transits going on since we brought that up around this time that we should look out for?
Well, this eclipse is actually trying to Pluto. So it's going to be how would I put it? Very transformative in perhaps a shocking kind of way.
The Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is a transit,
Right.
right? Like Mercury retrograde is my favorite toy every year, 3 times a year. 3 times a year, the universe is like, "Here you go, Monique," and I'm like, "Yay! Oh my god!" And Mercury retrograde in Aries is really this opportunity to transform your mind and understand that we are a construct. We are a build a bear. You know what I mean? We are that, but we don't see ourselves that way because we are not focused. We don't know how our liver works. We don't know how our heart works. We don't know how our lymph system. We don't know how we're made, right? So because we don't know how we're made, we don't know that you can reprogram the way these energies codes inside of us work. And Mercury retrograde in Aries is the opportunity to do that. And so it's about telling yourself a new story about who you are. It's what Mel was saying. The codes of who you are meant to be are inside of you. And Mercury retrograde in Aries is the opportunity to go open that vault and be like, oh, what's going on in here? This is the opportunity to do that. And who we don't know when we'll have Mercury retrograde in Aries again. But this is so you want to use this energy now. So I mean, yeah, and there's so many transits happening. Go ahead. What I'm sorry. I am hyper as
Do not
That's good. That's
apologize. I
good. We
love
need
it.
that. Yeah, we need it. I love it. Yeah,
it's
I
like
love
I had coffee and I haven't. Okay, go
it.
ahead. All right.
That's us, the trine, you know?
Yes, it's real.
Yes.
Like this. I literally feel like that, you guys. Okay. I'm like, okay. All right, go ahead.
Yes. Anything to add on to that, Mel? Any other transits that you see
Um,
popping
no,
right
just
now?
I mean, just the usual stuff. But the one thing I will say, it's not necessarily a transit. However, since we're at a time where we're getting the opportunity to really be ourselves and figure out what we really want, right? There are a lot of people who kind of don't really know what they want because again, they've been conditioned by society, by all of this stuff. If you want to know what that is, go back to December 2004 to June of 2006. That's the last time the nodes were in Aries and Libra and where these same eclipses were taking place. And so you
Mm,
will likely find that it is a continuation of that story, whatever that
mm,
story was. Now, you could have been so the last time the North Node was in Aries, there's a focus on you, right? And developing yourself. Now, this eclipse season, what have you developed within yourself and how are you using this self to relate to other people? And within that, you're going to figure out, okay, what is it that I really want? Who am I really? And it'll likely be desires that you had back then, things you were working on back then are resurfacing or are coming back around in a different way, or you have a different perspective on them. So take some time to re-examine that period of your life to see what was going on and how that has transpired or what has transpired since then.
mm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
that's time.
2004, you said?
Yeah, so the last
2004.
time the
Yeah.
North Node was in Aries and the South Node was in Libra was December 2004 to June 2006.
Wow, that is so great. That is the
Mm,
year that I graduated from my master's degree in spirituality and got married and started having planning a family. I'm still doing the same work, but I'm not married anymore, and I have a child. So,
during that time, I was just started attending classes at Osara Set,
hmm.
and I was going to weekly classes studying Kemetic spirituality. Yeah, stuff that I still use today. So yeah, it's a powerful, definitely a powerful time. And it was a time where I was just stepping into like, okay, I'm going to be active and really dedicated to this work. So, which I'm in the same cycle right now. So yeah, very, very interesting. Super
Mhm.
discipline, hyper discipline, which I'm in the same cycle. I'm in that same cycle right now. So yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's a interesting thing. At that time, I had been accepted to and started law school.
Mhm.
And I'm having a sort of a resurgence of all of that right now.
Mm,
So, and that was a desire of mine since I was 4 years old.
Mm.
So it is everything happens in cycles. Like, it's
Hmm.
not like you have this eclipse season and then it's done forever. This eclipse season is setting you up for the next go round when it's the same sort of astrological atmosphere, because it's getting you to evolve, it's getting you to ascend. If you use it for that, of course. If you don't, then you have all of this time and these things that pass you by and you don't connect them. Right? So you don't that's how you understand yourself. We're all Everything is cyclical. Nature is cyclical. We are creatures of habit and of pattern. The best way to understand that is through astrology and other
Right.
things, of course, but astrology mainly.
So easy to access through astrology. It's so easy to access. Like, for instance, I just posted on my Instagram page the information about Libra and how it runs in the body and what Libra rules. And, you know, when I do my work with the moons, right? So Libra rules the adrenal glands, the kidneys, um, a whole list of things, right? Like, and it's during this, when the moon is in Libra, that we get to bring energy to those aspects of our body and heal our bodies. And it's a cosmic conversation. The sun is there, the moon is there, the energy is there, and we're connected to this cosmic, we're a part of this great web. And so when the sun is there, then we can bring that energy and power to that aspects of our bodies and heal ourselves. I have been doing that this year, and it has been the most remarkable work, because what I have discovered is that I used to really only be in my head. I was never really in my body. Like, I would bathe, of course. I would eat. Um, I would put lotion on and things like that. But I wasn't treating my body like it was alive. Like, it was like I didn't understand my organs and how they worked and what they needed. I didn't understand that the kidneys hold the family karma. You hold your family karma in the kidneys. I mean, that's just fucking amazing, right? Like, and in the adrenals, right? So if your mother had high cortisol in her body when she was pregnant with you, then you are going to have health things that come because of your mother's high cortisol during the pregnancy, right? Like, but then you can heal it when the sun is in the sign that governs that aspect of your body.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, right? And I've been doing it, and it is remarkable. As a child, I used to have hives and all these sinus things. All that's Libra stuff, because the skin, like, Libra is the skin, and like, so eczema and all that shit, that's Libra stuff, right? So I'm sorry, I can't. Like, the creator has given us so much right here, and we just didn't know, y'all. We just didn't know. So we've been going to doctors, and we've been eating stuff that's out of season, and then we have headaches and weight challenges and health challenges, and we don't know why, and it's right at the tip of our noses. So I just love this stuff. I'm sorry, I got completely distracted and went over. Okay.
No, it's
It
good. It's
was
great.
no, that's
This is the
we follow where we need to go with this. We let it go
Yeah,
Yeah,
naturally. So
it
we
is.
needed to hear that.
Let me
yeah.
say
Let the
this.
chief flow.
I've been doing this apology thing. I've been on an apology tour for my energy, right? Which is so interesting, because I have Chiron at the first degree of Aries. And I have been working to dismantle it, because it has me doubt myself. It has me feel like I'm too much. And so now the sun is in Aries, and I am working to deconstruct it. And I just see that I keep apologizing for being myself. So I'm going to relax and just go with it. So thank y'all. Okay.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you. Uh, yeah, I like what Great Goodness Goddess Gratitude God posted. Observe, adhere, take action, eliminate, and respect your boundaries. And boundaries are very important, you know, especially in Aries season, where people might try to run over you, try to tell you what to do. The media, society, I'm like at work, and I'm looking, like, we have like this Microsoft Outlook internet, and it's just like, so every once in a while I'll look and click on a news story, But every day they've been showing like these new sexual terms like glisexual and this type of sexual and that type of sexual and all these new ways of influencing how you think and labeling yourself, giving you labels to label yourself. And if you want to be free, whatever type of sexuality you want to have, that's up to you. But don't let the media label what that's going to be for you. Don't let someone outside tell you what's good for your inside. Source that within. Ask yourself questions. Really do some observation of yourself. How do you feel about certain things? How do you really think? And separate yourself from the world. Like take time to be in silence, to sit in meditation. If you're not going to meditate, okay, sit in silence. Take off the earphones, turn off the music. Like really sit with yourself and ask yourself questions and see how your body resonates to certain questions and resonates to certain feelings. Because like I've been doing a lot of work with Het Heru lately, Hathor, right? Dealing with joy, dealing with visualization, dealing with happiness and cultivating that energy. And really it's about talking to yourself and knowing what is it that makes you feel good. What is it that brings you energy? You might think that someone else's path that you see on the internet is going to work for you, but that's not going to work for you. It may look good, they may look financially stable, they may look like they have everything going on, but that way of life may not work for you. So don't aspire to that unless that's really for you. And the only way you're going to really know that's for you is by you sourcing that from within yourself. You're not going to be able to get it from a book or anybody on YouTube or anything like that. You have to know that for yourself. And it might take time, right? Matter of fact, it will take time.
Mhm.
And that's what this work is about. It's not, there's no microwave process to this. There's no, okay, I'm going to do this. Like people be like, okay, I'm going to open my pineal gland. Like open your pineal gland in one day, 24-hour method. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. It's a process. Everything is a process. You growing is a process. You have to go from baby to child to man or woman, etc. And you're still growing. So there's always a process that's going on. So trust your process, but be willing to put in the work during that process. A lot of people want microwave results because we have fast internet. Like it doesn't work like that at all. You have to put in some type of work and exercise some sort of discipline and boundaries and take action and eliminate some things. You have to let some things go in order to make way and make space for the new, if that makes
Usher,
sense.
Usher.
Mhm.
If that
I
makes
think
sense.
it
But
is
yeah, I love yeah.
based on what you were saying. I think the thing that's so powerful is that as we do this work, you realize that there's nowhere to go but inside of yourself. There's nothing to get to but more of yourself. And because we're so distracted, I know for myself, because I had been so distracted, it didn't occur to me that there was really more to me. That's the truth. I got to say it. I got it. Like, it didn't occur to me that I was more than what the world says what successful was. Like, oh, so when I'm a wife, when I'm a mother, when I have this much money or these many things, but that's not who we are at all. None of that has anything to do with who you are. And when you begin to become devoted to yourself and you realize that the external accolades really don't mean anything, they really take away, but we give them so much power that we don't know that that's true. And that's why you see people get successful and commit suicide and like they ascend to the realms of material um, achievement and feel empty inside because it's the work is really within. It really is. And yeah, so thanks for that, Rob. It's a powerful understanding to
Yeah.
become devoted
That's
to yourself.
the that's like the science of Saturn's cube. Like in every major metropolitan city, there's a cube in the downtown area. There's a black cube. And that
That's
black
right.
cube is, like you said, you being a mother, or you being a wife, or you being a father, or you being a husband, and these expectations that you're supposed to have. Like you can't be a woman but still be assertive and aggressive, right? And have that type of energy. You can't be a man and be emotionally in tune and be calm, right? You got to be aggressive and assert, right? These different boxes, like
Mm-hmm.
you can't be like, if you're black, you got to be scary. You got to be, a thug. These
Mm-hmm.
type of
Mm-hmm.
boxes that the media feeds on who you are and what you are. There's boxes on top of boxes, like in the Matrix, where the Oracle was telling Neo, like there's programs on top of programs. So okay, you're into blackness. Okay, we got a box for that too. So we got
Yeah.
an algorithm for that too. So we'll feed you all the negative news stories about black people that we can, and the police brutality, and this is what they're doing to us, and this random thing happened in nowhere, Arkansas, that affected a black person. So you could feel sad when you go
Mhm.
about your day, right? Things that don't
Yeah.
necessarily have anything to you, but you're caught up in a box. You're caught up in a group, and that's where Saturn energy on the negative side is really about. Even though this is an 8 year, it's about keeping you caught up in an earthly cycle, keeping you caught up in what's going on with the world. But the real world is your inner world, right? Your inner systems, your physical
Mhm.
systems, not the external systems, because all the external systems are really a reflection of you and your
Yes.
perception of what it is. If you're perceiving that the world is going, like we have these things about the eclipse now, they're already fear mongering and saying, the world is going to end, and there's going to be problems in the cities and things like that. Well, if that's your perception of what's going to happen during the eclipse, then that is what's going to happen. And the more that the collective consciousness thinks in that box, is the more that those things will be created. But we could think outside of the box
Mm-hmm.
to create the reality that we want through our meditations, through our rituals, through our visualizations, and through what we're communicating to the world. And that's really what these eclipses and these energies should really be about, us creating the world that we want to see. And once we create the world that we want to see for ourselves, that world will now be reflected out into the outer world. And these things that the days may be planning or conjuring up, can't fuck with us. They can't fuck with our energy. They know who we are. They know the power that we have within ourselves. So they
Mm-hmm.
constantly conjure these images and do these rituals to try to get you to shift focus. But we have to focus on what's important, and that's our divinity. And that's our being at one with the God within. And that's our being happy that we know these things, that we even being grateful. Like I was thinking, like the gratitude that, you know, that a lot of us don't even have for the fact that we are on this path. As difficult as it may be, I'd rather be on this path than being where I was, before I knew about any of these things. I much prefer having a knowledge of self than not having a knowledge of self and being a walking dead zombie out here, which a lot of people are, unfortunately. And it's not our job to save anybody else, but through our actions, through us living this lifestyle, that's what will draw people to us. That's what is saving the world. You saving yourself. Anybody want to
Mhm.
add on to
Think
that?
so. Woo, this is church in here. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Right. I mean, you said it all basically. It's everything is to get you to not be who you are meant to be, what you are here to do. And it's not, I mean, I love that you say to have gratitude for this path because there are times when you're just like, damn, like I kind of wish I didn't know this. Or I
Right.
wish I wasn't awake to this cuz some days to say that it's hard is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
But to be blind and asleep and deaf is not a good alternative either.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a walking soulless bot at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But with this awareness comes the beauty of the creator that is you. So it doesn't matter what calamity they're saying is happening. That's not your reality. It doesn't have to be. That's that true heaven on earth that they talk about in the Bible. It's not only a state of mind. It can be a physical place as well because you can create a situation where you're nowhere near everything that's going on, right? And that's the power that you have, but it only comes from doing the work as hard as it may be. And so yes, I love that you say to have gratitude for that because it is an amazing gift that we've all been given.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yes.
that's so good.
Yeah. And you have to
I
be ready for conflict too. Go
yeah.
ahead, Mo. Sorry.
Well, no,
Go
it's
ahead.
fine. I I felt like you were going to ask another question earlier, so I wanted to like create space for you to ask the next question, just in case. Like, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just
'Cause
want
I
to
love
Mel
your energy today.
trigger something in me. So I just want to say yes, yes, I love it. I love it. I love
yeah,
it. Mel triggered me to talk about just being prepared for conflict.
yeah,
This is Aries season and it's the Ram energy, it's Mars energy. And a lot of people won't be who they are because they're scared of what someone else is going to say. They're scared of judgment. They're scared of negative commentary. They're scared of what the family is going to say, what the friends are going to say, what the people at work are going to say. And this is the time where, if you are in that space, the energy now of spring
mhm,
is giving you the force to carry you and be able to be bold enough to take a stand of who you really are, on what you're really here to do. And what you're really here to do is serve in some way, shape, form, of capacity. This world teaches us to be selfish in a way, right? And there's nothing wrong with selfishness. Everything has its time and place, but it teaches us to be self-absorbed, just feed the
mhm,
ego, what's going
mhm,
to serve us, what's going to make us shine, what's going to make us feel better. But the way you make yourself feel better in a lot of ways is through how you are able to serve someone else. What gift are you bringing to the planet? Whether it's writing books, whether it's having a YouTube channel, whether it's delivering courses, whether it's making food, whether it's making sock, whether it's making the new platform that we all go on instead of YouTube, right? What can you create and bring to the planet? How can you serve? Because that's where the money comes from, too, by the way. That's where the rewards come from. It comes from serving in some way, shape, or form. There's no business. Like, if you think of Amazon, right? Amazon, he's basically a servant. He figured out how to serve people books and items in less than 24 to 48 hours, right? If I order a package today, most likely I could get it by tomorrow. That's service. That's he's serving, you know? And it
mhm,
may not seem like that, but that is what he is doing. He's figured out a way to serve people efficiently. And because of that, more people come to him, you know? And a lot of times I feel like, especially those of us that come from these urban environments, we're so used to being played or manipulated that that kind of gets turned off on us. Like, we don't want to serve anybody, right? Because when we did, we got burnt, or when we went through serving people, right, it didn't work, or and it's about pushing past that. Like, yeah, you made a mistake, or you may have tried something that didn't work. Well, keep pushing, try a different way, learn from that, don't let it stop you. Many people have failed businesses when they first started, and then they kept revamping it until they became a success. And some people's overnight success takes 10, 15 years, you know?
mhm. 25 years, even.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I was looking at the Tyler Perry documentary, and how long he went at it before he became successful, and how many times he wanted to give up. And I'm just thinking, like, what if, one of those times he just decided to give up? He didn't tap into that Aries energy within him. He didn't have the power to keep pushing forward, to keep ramming forward, and to tap into a spiritual warrior and say, no, I'm supposed to make movies. This is what I'm supposed to do. And this is love. That's a passion. Whatever you want to say about Tyler Perry, you could tell he has a passion for making movies. For him to crank them out with a degree, only him writing them, that's passion. That's love. That's something
mhm,
that he really wants to do. Whatever job he was working, to sustain himself, he was always thinking of movies. So what is it that's constantly playing in your head that you want to do? And ask the universe for what you need to accomplish that. And it'll come. The money will come to invest in this. The money will come. The people will come. But you have to be clear on what you're putting out into the universe in order to manifest that. And you have to be willing to be a warrior. You have to be willing to go against all odds. This is not a path for the soft. It's not a path for the weak. It's not a path for the scary, right? All these people that putting fear out there of the Illuminati and the government, be careful of those people. They're not trying to empower you. They want you to depend on them. I'm trying to, and we are trying to tell you to depend on you, to
mhm,
rely on the divine, the God within you, the divine spark within you. And then all these other things will start to come to you and magnetize to you.
mhm.
Right. If you are called to serve and you don't answer that call, you will suffer. It's not a joke. We're not in times where you can be, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this, but not. No, like it's time to
Mhm.
stand the fuck up and do what you're here to do and stop betraying yourself. If
Yeah.
you know what you're here to do, if you know what you want, stop listening to other people, like Rob said. Because we all have a job to do. We all have a mission here. And if you are not, because your mission is also not going to be some arbitrary thing that doesn't align with you, it will feel so perfect. It will feel like all the pieces come together. You want to do it. It is your passion. But a lot of times we deny our passions because a lot of things, right? But again, if you don't serve, you will suffer. So get to work. And people will, oh, how's your little business doing? Or whatever. They will do that shit to death, right? Pay it no mind. It's white noise. It's absolutely irrelevant because they don't have the wherewithal, the awareness, nor the courage to do what they're being called to do. So, like Rob said, it's gonna take time. I mean, we live in a dimension that is slow, right? So things will take time, but you have to do it, especially now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Thought you had something, Mo.
I was just I'm what Mel said is so on point. I am a testament to that. Like I quit my job. Years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I hired a coach to tell me exactly what to do because I was working for somebody all the time. And so I didn't know how to manage my time, how to actually start a business. And she told me exactly what to do. She said, get a calendar where people can book you. Get a she told me to sit at your own desk and your computer for 8 hours a day in your
Mm,
house for 8 hours a day and just sit there. If you don't have nothing to do, still sit there and figure out what you're going to do. And
mm,
she gave me a list of things to do, and I did that. And and then the universe was like, okay, now she did. Now there she go. So
right.
then
Yeah.
clients started coming, and then like we get it backwards. We try to create where we want to be from where we are, and you can't see it. It's not available to your perception. You have to actually start building, and then more will be revealed. I remember when I first started doing my work, and my spiritual power within me, my spirit guides, people call them, whatever, my higher self said to me, I was like, well, I want to see. And it was like, we can't. And they said to me, we cannot tell you the end yet because you have so many little detailed steps that we can only tell you one thing at a time. Because if we tell you everything, it'll blow you out. You won't get it. You won't see it. So as I got, one step at a time, then the next thing will be revealed. And it has literally been like an invisible force, an invisible team that directs me to the things that, like, I'll just wake up knowing, like, oh, I need to do a liver detox. Or I'll wake up knowing, like, oh, I need to call such and such and such. Or I'll think about some, and it's always one step to the next from inside of myself, from my connection to the divine within. And had I, where I am now, I would not have thought that would have, I couldn't see it. I could not see where I am from where I came. It takes faith, it takes trust, it takes courage, it takes, you know, small risk. It takes telling yourself the truth. These are the things that it takes. And as you show up in that, the universe will deliver to you the next step every single time. Every time.
Yeah. That was a disciplined move too, Mo, for you to sit by your computer for, 8 hours straight. Just I'm sure there were days where you want to leave that computer and, do something else and think, but you made a disciplined choice. And I think a lot of people run from that level of discipline, where you sit at a computer for 8 hours or you do anything that's going to take some time and it's going to actually cause you to sacrifice something. So I'm sure there's times you want to entertain yourself and do other things, but that.
Let me say where I finally got to. I had tried all the other things so many times that didn't work. I had tried, oh, I'm gonna get in a relationship and it's gonna be so great, and then we're gonna get married. And I had tried that, it didn't work. I had tried working for other people. I had tried all the things. So, what I hadn't tried was sitting at my computer doing what I do that I love for 8 hours a day. I had not tried that. So I tried it. That was it. So when you say the discipline, please, it wasn't, it was like, well, you haven't tried it. You've tried everything else and failed. You may as well try this. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I'm being disciplined, I'm being strong.
Mhm.
It was like, bitch, all the other doors are empty. Ain't nothing in all those other places. you've
But that
you've
was a level of rock bottom that you hit, that,
yeah,
maybe not rock bottom when you out on the
yeah,
street, right?
it was
But
rock
it was a
bottom.
level of rock bottom where you're like, look, I tried everything else.
Yeah,
Let me try God, basically. That's what
yeah,
you did. You
that's
like, let me
right.
try this God, let me try God's way. Let me see if
Yeah,
this way works. Because I've tried the external with a
I have
man. I've
tried
tried
it.
to get it with a job. I've tried to get it doing
With
all these
20
other
men,
things.
with 20 men, not a man, with 20 men. You know what I mean? Like man after
Oh yeah.
man after man after man looking
Right.
for the one, right?
A savior. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Job after job after job looking for the thing, like all sorts of, and then finally it was like, you know, try yourself. And I did. And I felt lost. I felt like, what am I doing? But then it started working.
That's a blessing. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a big lesson. That's a big
Mhm.
lesson. Yeah, definitely. Anything you want to add to that, Mel? Are you good?
Um, the one thing I will say, I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, people who constantly, because it's when you're starting your own business, of course, it's difficult, right? It's the mindset that's difficult. Because you'll have people who are like, why don't you just get a job or get a job, right? And they find so much security in that paycheck they get every week or every other week, right? But do you know what has to be generated for you to get a paycheck from somebody every week? And you realize this as a business owner, how much money I have to make, not only to keep the business running, but to be able to pay you regularly is a lot. And that was not built overnight. That big company that you work for, that's hundreds of years of people putting in that work. And it
Mhm.
just sucks because it's not your work. You have no ownership to that. At the end of the day, that paycheck can be given to somebody else at the drop of a dime, and that's usually what happens.
Mhm.
Yep.
So when you have people saying to you, "Oh, get a job or do this or do that," understand, again, we live in a dimension where things happen slowly, and they only happen because you have to keep putting in the work. But the thing is,
Yep.
when you're in alignment with what you're supposed to do, it doesn't feel like work either. So as much as you're like, yes, it does take discipline to sit in front of the computer 8 hours, I'm spending 8 hours doing what I like.
Right.
I'm
Joy.
not
Right.
researching some bullshit for somebody else or some expense
Right.
report that I really don't give a shit about. I'm doing things that not only I like, but I'm creating. When
Mhm.
you are in your creator mode, yeah, some days the clock it feels like you're on the clock. Other days it
That's
doesn't.
God mode. Creative mode is God mode.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So keep at it, keep doing it. And with Saturn and Pisces, it's like you can see the dream. I think that, yes,
Yes.
I understand that like spirit will not show you the end result, but
Mhm.
sometimes I think spirit gives you snippets
Oh yes,
and you're
absolutely.
just like, oh shit, I could do that. Or you have this desire, but all of a sudden your mind is like, oh no, 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 I can't do that. Like that's too much. And spirit is like, I'm gonna give you a taste so you know.
Yes.
It's kind of like that carrot in front of the hamster. Spirit is like, I kind of need you to move, so I'm gonna
Yes.
show you something real dope,
Yes.
right? But with Saturn and Pisces, you're getting that snippet right now. But
Mhm.
Saturn is like, nah, man. Okay, cool. We're showing you having your own yacht in the Mediterranean, but you know how much work you have to generate to have that? That
That's
shit is real,
yes.
but you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it,
Right.
and I'm gonna help you every step of the way. You all I need you to do is embody that, be that which you already are, and I will give you everybody you need, all of the resources, all of the directions, I will give you everything if you will just be that
Yes.
and be willing to put in the work.
Yes.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Fire.
Can I tell you, I have clients that show up like I have clients now that are like, we love your work and your community so much. We're gonna, I'm gonna pay for all of us to go have dinner once a month at the full moon so that we can all come together out of the virtual community and into real time, because
That's the
it's a team effort. Like, because
That's dope.
when you are devoted to your work, people start to show up, because it's not just about you, it's about the service. Right? It's really about what you're doing for others. And because I sat down at my computer for 8 hours a day, now I have clients all over the world. I have clients who are in service to one another, in service to a greater vision. And so, like, and we are all here, like, we are a community of women who are devoted to healing and transmuting our trauma into magic, because that's what the trauma was for. It was there to get your attention. So one day you'll have to pay attention and focus on it. And then it's going to transform into magic. And we're a community of women who do that. And it is dope as fuck. Okay.
And just to piggyback off
okay.
that, my teacher Nikki always says people are waiting for you in your fullness. When you start doing what you're supposed to do, it starts pinging other people who are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. And I don't care what it is. Like, spirit is not judgmental. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be, oh, you have to be the spiritualist. You have to be you could be a stripper that gives financial advice at the same time.
That's right.
And there is
Mhm.
somebody who needs that lap dance and that tax advice. I swear to God.
That's right. 8 billion people on the planet. Somebody need a
Yeah.
lap dance and tax advice.
And a tax return.
Not for
Right.
nothing. That's kind of a dope idea, but I digress.
Right.
However, there
That's a
is
great
someone
idea.
who needs you as you are. They are actually waiting for you. They've been waiting for you. You're the one who's just been dragging your feet. And because you've been dragging your feet, maybe they've been dragging their feet too. But when you come online and when you light up, you start lighting up everybody who needs you. And then they get the person that needs them. And before you know it, we're all lit. That's the point.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so,
Yeah.
so good.
And from somebody who dated strippers, strippers are not just one dimensional.
They are
You know,
not.
they're not one dimensional people. They have things that they can offer other than just stripping. So that you that this is true. You know? This is facts. This is my old life. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a certain
I
age.
love it. I love
I've
it.
been in
I love it.
It doesn't have to be your old life.
That could be
Everything
sad.
serves a purpose.
right.
Everything. There is nothing under this sun that is not for a purpose. You
And you
don't. I
learn
mean,
because a lot
it's
of
also
people
the
that's
oldest
never
profession
been
in
in
the
this
world.
world. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'll go.
No, I'm
I
saying
have
a lot of people who's never. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. No, I'm saying a lot of people who's never, real quick, a lot of people who's never been part of that world, the underworld, so to speak. They tend to judge people from the underworld. They tend to think underworld people are one dimensional and they could only thug or they could only strip or they could only hold. No, they have skills. They have certain mindsets that they may have to put in the back in order to survive. Right? That doesn't mean that they're just that. That's what the media wants to portray, but that's not who they fully are. There's
Of
always a
course.
backstory. There's always something that a talent that somebody has, even if it's unrealized talent. There's talents. We all have talents.
Jesus Christ hung out with the hoes and the prostitutes. Like, it
He
is,
did.
we have to really understand the symbolism and the energies and the archetypes of these identities that we take on, because it all serves a purpose. And I mean, if it's, I love the Christ story, like the mythology of Christ. I don't adhere to it. Like, Jesus Christ is not my personal Lord and Savior. I am my own personal Lord and Savior. But the messaging of his story, the mythology, the archetypal energy, is that he honored everybody for who they were, for the God in them as it presented. He never said, stop being who you are. Never. He never, ever, ever. That, like, you don't hear that stuff though. He never said you're a sinner. Never said that. Never did. Never said, you know, what you're doing is wrong. And not to common people. To the Pharisees, he did. He was like, you're taxing the people. You're charging for, you're saying that there's a particular way to access God, and there is not. Like, Jesus Christ did not say that. So I love this thing that you're talking about with strippers, because what I hear in you is the Christ when you say that.
Right, right. There is nothing wrong with that. And the way that you finesse that is you heal the part of yourself that perhaps is doing it out of survival or that's
Right.
conditioned to think that it's wrong. And then you stand empowered in that shit.
That's right.
You could be a sex worker, you could be a stripper, whatever. God uses us in every single way, in all ways. So
Yeah,
just be who you are. You like to fuck, fuck.
that's right.
Do
That's right.
what you need to do.
Because you're designed that way.
Right.
Astrology
Right.
will let you understand that it is your design. If you like to have sex, that's a part of your design. If you like to
Right.
flower, that's a part of your design. If you like to sing, that's a part of your design. I mean, everybody likes sex, right? And we all need it because it is our sexual energy is our connection to the God force in us.
Right.
Everything in this universe is fucking. Bees are fucking flowers. The sun is fucking the earth. The oceans are fucking the land. The trees are the cum that is sprout out of the. You know what I mean? Like, it's all. Everything here is sex. It all is. We have become so perverted in our understanding of it. Meaning, the perversion is that we think it's dirty or wrong. And when things get perverted, it goes into the shadow. So then it becomes these things that are dirty and wrong because we have gone against ourselves and in judgment to ourselves. So, but that's why we
Yeah.
also need to access the Christ in us so that we can release the judgment, like Mel said. So
Mhm.
anyway, that's all. Thank you.
But it's
Yeah.
no
It's been
coincidence
putting
we're talking about sex and it's Aries season. So just putting
right,
that out
right, and spring, right, where
Mhm.
everything is literally fucking, like Mo said. Everything in the universe is coming together, right? Bears out of hibernation, looking for female bears. Same thing. We coming out of hibernation as it gets warmer, right? We want
Yeah.
people want us to be more sexually inclined. This is the area and the energy, even the universe, right? With the eclipses, right, which we're about to
Yes.
get into. That is a
That's
form of mating, right? The sun, the moon, and the earth coming in alignment, coming into one.
mm-hmm.
Um, let's talk about that. Oh, somebody had put. I think I deleted it. I didn't delete it, but removed it. But dandelion tea is a good one, especially now. It's a therapeutic to flush the kidneys, which is a great time to do that now. As far as I know, you were talking about that earlier, Mo. Changing your energy and flushing out the old you, and just to give your body some extra power, some extra oomph to get over these humps and to realize who you really are and to get rid of some of the sludge, some of the grime, so to speak, right? It's like cleaning your engine, of your car,
Yes.
basically. That's what a kidney flush is. It's like cleaning the engine of your car so that you have a nice running engine, right? So this physical avatar is our vehicle. So you have to take care of it as well. Yes, you could do a lot of mind work, and mind does move matter, but you also have to take care of the matter, right? Doesn't matter how great your steering is if your car is not up to par, if your engine is not up to par. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that was powerful. Let's talk about this full moon in Libra. This lunar eclipse, full moon in Libra, and your guys' insights as astrological geniuses.
You can go, Mo.
She can swing over. Okay, great. Um, so Mel said something earlier, which I think really is the best language. And you said divine justice is what it is, right?
Mhm.
Like divine justice. And what does that look like in our own personal realities? I feel like the thing that's really significant about the South Node is what we are releasing, what we are letting go of. It's what we're shedding. It's it's, the south node is going into winter and the trees dropping all of their leaves, and everything dying. So everything in that Libra type energy is going through a shedding of, like the snake shedding its skin. So our partnerships and relationships, like maybe the way we make money, Venus is in Pisces right now. So Venus in Pisces is, kind of the ways that we can be very fantasy driven. Like we don't necessarily have a realistic, I feel like it can be kind of naive, is what I would say Venus and Pisces is. But so it's like we're growing up. We're coming out of being children and being adults and being responsible for how we really show up. But there's also like a karmic um, code in this, because the South Node is also our karma. So that's the divine. Um, what's what you were talking about, Mel? The divine justice, that karmic South Node. So how we have treated other people, y'all. How we have treated other people. And I'm gonna say this, right? And I've never said this out loud, but when I was a little girl, there was a boy that went to my school when I was in junior high school who had cerebral palsy. He was a white boy. He was, first of all, I went to a magnet school for children with gifted and high achieving, and I used to tease this little boy. Um, I used to tease him because of the way he spoke. I was not, I was not kind, and I have a child who has special needs now. Like that's divine justice. You gonna learn the lesson. You gonna learn it. And I'm learning it now. And I see so clearly, even though I was 12 or 13 and stupid, I wasn't conscious in what I was doing, right? I was being performative. I was being unconscious. But the universe was like, we still gonna give you the divine justice. And now I have a 17-year-old who has special needs, and he's amazing and he's dynamic, and oftentimes I'm in that space with him and I'm like, wow, who knew what I was doing then that I didn't understand? But this eclipse season is divine justice. What you put out to another comes back. And 19 years ago, you said 19 years ago, Mel, this
Mhm.
is, and I have a son. So I was pregnant 19 years ago,
Oh wow.
right?
Wow.
Right. So, and I have Saturn in karma. I mean, I have Saturn in Aries. So Saturn in Aries is karma to the self. And we're about to, so I just want, this shit is, and I'm here, I'm living proof of it. So pay attention to what you have put out, how you have treated the other, and how the other has treated you, because the retribution is coming. Gratefully, I've been able to heal. I've done the self-love. I understand the choices that I made. I've been able to reconcile it and make adjustments. And so now I'm thriving, my child is thriving, but I see the connections.
Yeah, that's it. It's eclipses are always very powerful, sometimes very heavy energy. And
Mhm.
in Libra, it's a two, I don't want to say it's a two-edged sword, but it's more than just, okay, Libra is about relationships, because relationships are us. And so at the core of everything is us, right?
Mhm.
So how have we showed up in relationships is going to be shown to you like a neon sign, because it's not only a full moon, it's an eclipse. So it's like, that light that they use to call Batman, like that's what's going to be shown to you. And it's going to be like, holy fuck. Okay.
That's
Shit is
right.
really fucked up. But the only place you have to look is within. Every person that you have in your life is merely just showing you you. And
Yes.
Yeah.
it's like, that meme on Instagram where it's like three Spider-Mans and they're all pointing at each other. Like that's just life. That's how we operate. That's what we experience. And this lunar eclipse is going to show you that. And it's a wonderful, it nothing ever happens by coincidence. And you can tell how the astrology is working just by looking at society. Like this whole gender war thing that people have been waging for the last couple of years, that is by design. You have to see the bullshit. All of that craziness has to come to the surface because it's being wiped clean by the South Node in Libra. So whereas, I feel like we, especially like my parents' generation, right? Like I guess you would call them boomers, right? A lot of times I think to myself, I'm like, yo, these people were really in the dark ages. Like not only not self-aware, but a whole bunch of bullshit, right? Especially when it came to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I might be going on a little tangent right here, but just follow me for a second.
Go in, go in.
So a lot of that generation, right? A lot of them are still married, which is beautiful, but for the wrong fucking reasons. And in this obligatory kind of way. Like I talk to a lot of my mom's friends, and some of them are low key waiting for their husbands to die. Like I'm not even going front about that. They're like, when is this insurance money coming through? Because I'm sick of this motherfucker. I've been with him for 60 years. He treats me like shit. I don't like it. Like I'm ready for the funeral kind of thing. But other people will say, well, you've been married for 60 years. That's beautiful, right? But what is the thread that holds that marriage together? It usually sucks. And so all of this is coming to the surface now so that we can eradicate it. That North Node in Aries, like I was talking before, is getting you to be who you are, right? But guess what? That's going to change your relationships too. You're not only going to be in relationships for superficial reasons or out of trauma or out of distress, right? You're going to start being with people who actually vibe with you for who you are. But you got to get rid of the garbage and the trash first. And so for some, this eclipse is going to highlight the garbage. And it's not to say that the people around you are garbage. No, it's the ideology behind your beliefs that have attracted that garbage that are going to be shown to you. So you have to, it's like, what was that movie? Bird Box or Bird whatever. You know that
Yes,
thing? They were like
yeah,
holding people's eyes open like this. That's eclipse season. Like
that
eclipse season,
is
I
such
need
a
you to
good movie.
I need you to see this shit for what it is, because now we're cleaning up. And so while we have this, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of these relationships I see on social media are just crazy. Or like, like that whole like Krishan Blueface kind of thing, like where people like kind of idolize these really train wrecks of relationships. I guarantee you over the next 20, 30 years, it's not gonna be like that, because people are seeing the garbage for what it is. And if they're heeding the call and doing what they need to do, apart, along with doing the healing, now we're going to start to have relationships that elevate the vibe of the world, right? That really align with what love really is. So that's the purpose of, that's one of the purposes of this eclipse.
Mm. Boy, y'all dropping heavy Oppenheimer level atomic bombs on this here live today. Man, yeah. Whenever I think of Libra, I always think of the scales. The Libra scales and measuring, the heart with the feather. And as far as Kemetic, when you think of the judgment of the scales, right, measuring the heart with the feather. And when you talk about someone else, your brain doesn't really know that you're talking about someone else. This is a self-preservation chamber, this body, right? So whenever you're talking about somebody, whenever you're gossiping about somebody, whenever you're saying anything negative about somebody or something, you're only talking to yourself. So you're reinforcing your body's electromagnetic field, aka your aura, to resonate with more of the negative, with more of the distress, the problems, the what this person's doing. Even talking about celebrities, like even seeing their downfall and talking about puffies and all that all the time, you're just spewing more and more negative energy, and you're just telling your cells, right? Your electromagnetic field, your 100 trillion cells, that I want to attract more of this to me. I want to attract more drama to me. I want to attract more problems to me, because that is what your heart, being as light as a feather, right? Your sensitivity level, What are you attracted to? What are your senses, right? Your sensuality, even. What is it that brings things to you? And this is how you activate your senses. There are some people who love drama. They'll be in a relationship. Like I remember dating somebody and things were going good, and then all of a sudden we just started arguing. I was like, "Yo, where does this come from?" And she was like, "This is boring. Like it's boring. Like we need to spark something." Like
Was she a
I'm like,
Gemini? Was she a Gemini or
she
did
was
have?
definitely a Gemini, which is why I
Right.
met
Gemini is
her.
like that. Yes.
Yeah,
She needed some
definitely a
action.
Gemini,
Right.
100%. Y'all good. See, y'all are good. That's why I got y'all here. See, yeah, but yeah, she was definitely a Gemini. She was like, "This is boring.
Yes,
Like, I
yes,
need to do something else. I
yeah.
need to activate something else." And it was like, and I was like, "Huh? This is like, you fucking weird. Like, you don't have no drama, you know?" Like this is what people look for in relationships. But if you're watching like tons of reality shows, which what I realized at the time she was doing, right, watching tons of reality shows, caught up in that matrix, even watching a lot of celebrity drama nowadays, for the men, like you have to really be careful because that's what a lot of social media is putting out here. And the
Yes.
more you're on social media, the more you're watching these things on YouTube, the more you could easily get engulfed in the drama. And some of it is entertaining. Like I'm not gonna say I'm not entertained by some of it. That would be a bold-faced lie. But how much do you dwell on that? What is your real focus? What are you really focusing on? There are days where, like myself, I have like what I call like chill days where I don't do anything but watch movies or, I might watch 90 Day Fiance or something like that. But I have the rest of the other 6 days, like I'm in my bag, I'm studying, I'm reading, I'm learning, I'm doing ritual, right? I got my candles lit, right? I'm watering my plants, you know, I'm taking care of my flower of Jericho, right? Whatever, things like that, right? Making sure that I am always conducting certain energy. And also this season where you live, your space, your bedroom, like you want to temple it out, like when you walk into a church, you see certain things. You see an altar, you see the stained glass, right? You see where there's the choir. It looks like a church. Your house should look like a temple in some ways. There should have things on it, the wall, things that reaffirm your divinity that you're always seeing around you, that reaffirm your purpose, whether it's you want to lose weight or you want to gain muscle, or you're trying to read more. Maybe it's a picture of somebody reading or whatever the case is. Things that reaffirm your higher self should always be around you, and this will allow you to now magnetize or strengthen your magnetism for what you really want versus what you don't want. And most of the world focuses on what they don't want.
That's
But this
right.
eclipse is going to really show you who you truly are. This eclipse season is going to show you what you're truly attracting, who you truly are, and what you truly are. Real quick, I had a situation where a couple of weeks ago, it was raining in New York a lot, and I was just going through, my depression was starting to kick in. I didn't realize it, because I do have now I have an indoor bike, so it helps. But it was just starting to kick in. Some things were happening, and somebody I worked with did a reading for. They called me. It was like, oh, they text me. It was like, oh, your reading helped me, and shifted some things, and they were giving me some thanks, and they was asking me how I was, and I was telling them, I was like, yo, my energy right now is really low, and she was telling me, take some vitamin D and take some magnesium, it'll help. And I started doing that. But if I didn't give that, I felt like if I didn't tell her what she needed to hear in her reading and it helped her, I wouldn't have got that feedback, So it came to me when I needed it. And then I started doing it, and then it started working. My energy got back up. My mood started improving, right? Things that I just forgot going through the things of life. And this is how spirit works. If you're really doing the spiritual work, it comes to you. Not abundance is not just in the form of money. Blessing is not just in the form of material things. Blessings is someone giving you a word when you need it, right? Or somebody showing you light and love when you really need it. So those are the things we want to look at during this season. Anything else you ladies want to talk about when it comes about this full moon? Because Libra's an interesting thing when you talk about people and relationships. And, people don't realize the biggest relationship we have is with ourselves, and that
That's
impacts all the other relationships outside of us.
true.
And we don't nurture that relationship with ourselves enough.
Hmm. I wanted to say something based on that what you're saying, but also this like how our energy works and what we're drawn to. It's very important that we really question our attractions. Like as I've been doing the work to really reprogram my energy, I have a Gemini moon and I am highly attracted to drama. I really am, which is why I but I'm not adverse to it. I have to use it. I have to so which is why I do readings for people and I work with people because my energy is drawn to the mess because I like to fix it. I like to fix it. I want to know
Right.
because I'm like, it's a puzzle for me. It's like, what's going on? What? Oh, you a minister and you having affairs with a whole lot of people. Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay, here's what we need to do. You know what I mean? Like, so I understand. Like when that TD Jakes stuff was going off, I got so many dopamine hits off of the TD Jakes stuff. So, but you have to really learn how to use these energies, right? Like,
Right.
especially if you have Gemini. Gemini is duality. So, Gemini people can get away with things that other people can't, but you can't stay there too long or you'll get stuck. So, I have just found ways to make it work so that I can, like, I'm the cleaner upper. So, I get to be like, oh, I get to go find out what's happening. Ooh, and then I get to clean it up, right? So you just have to learn how your energy works. Um, and that's this Aries North Node energy. It's like really learning how your energy works. And it's layers to this stuff. It's multifaceted. We are a multi-dimensional being. You are not just this physical body. You have many aspects to you, and the more we understand that, and you understand that through stop when you stop judging yourself, when you stop comparing yourself, when you stop being at odds with what you're feeling, and you give it permission to be. That's this Aries season. It's like making yourself how you want yourself to be, not allowing the culture, the external world, the ideas that come from outside of you, not allowing that to determine who you are, right? So like this part of me that likes gossip and likes drama, I know that it's tricky. I know it's tricky. I know that it could suck the life out of me and drain all my energy, but it's a part of me. So I've had to up level it to work for me and not against me. And I can't deny it. I can't push it away. I can't act like it's not there because if I act like it's not there, then it's going to just become a shadow, and then I'm thinking about people and all their business and what, and I'm inside. I'm not just, it's like Rob was saying, don't talk about people. It's the things you think about people.
Yeah. Self
It's
talk.
right. It's the internal self talk as well, right? So I've had to program my internal self talk so that my internal self talk isn't talking shit about other people because I have a Gemini moon and that energy
Mhm.
is very nosy. It's very, it just cares about the fuck, and a Pisces rising. I just care about what other people are doing. I just do. And I have Venus in Libra and Mercury in Libra. I just want to know everything going on with you. I ain't gonna tell nobody.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to know. Tell me what's
Yeah.
going on. I want to know. And okay, and then I want to know so that I can fix it. I need to fix
That
it.
Virgo sun. That Virgo
Right.
sun is like, oh yes.
Like I'm the person with the pimples. I'm like, oh, let's pop that pimple. Let's get it. Let's right. Like I love it. My child be like, get away from me, mom. Get away. Cause I'm so like, oh, did you clean your ears? Did you?
Yeah.
I
I
am the
love it.
eight that's like going through, right? Because I need that, right? But you have to know who you are so that you're not judging yourself, so that you can let those energies play out and make and have them vibrate high, so to say. You know what I mean? Have it work so that it serves you and not that it makes you and not that it drains you.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
is so Aries because Aries is unapologetically itself.
Yes.
Like air, like in terms of development, Aries is a baby. Babies don't give a fuck. They just exist in
Yeah.
their nastiness sometimes, in their cuteness. They are whole within themselves, and that is the only way that they exist. And
Mhm.
that's how we are meant to be. If we were left to be who we are supposed to be from jump, this
Yeah.
world would be so different because we'd all be aligned with what we're
Yeah.
supposed to do. And that's the beauty of astrology. Astrology will tell you. Just like Mo said, she's a Gemini moon. She likes the drama. She likes the drama. She nosy, right? Your
I'm
chart
a
will
Gemini
tell
moon
you.
too, so I get it.
Your chart will tell you if you a thief. Your chart will tell you if you like to fuck. Your chart will tell you if you are a cheater. And it's
Yeah.
not to shame you. It's to say this is who you are. Incarnating into a human form in this dimension means that you will have flaws. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? But society has
And,
conditioned to
and,
us
and
to
are
condition
they flaws or are they
Right.
just,
What's the who?
it's,
characteristics.
Yeah.
it's so interesting. I had a client this week who, and Mel, you're gonna love this. She had the moon and Venus and something else in the seventh house in Sagittarius. And I think she may have been a Cancer. And then she had like and and she had something else in Gemini. And she was married, and her whole thing was, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Like, my husband doesn't want to do anything. I'm like, girl, you are not
Get
a
out.
monogamous person. You are, that's your energy. It's not about sex, but you need to be, you can't align your system to him. He is draining the life out of you because you're giving your power over because you think you need to do what he wants you to do. That woman thing. You know, that thing we have as women, right? Rob, do you experience that in women where they just collapse their energy into you because you're a man?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm a
Look how he's
I'm,
at a point. He's like, of course.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that to be arrogant, but yeah. 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 You know
And
what?
how does
You know
it
the thing.
feel? How
You
does
know what
it
the thing
feel?
now is but a lot of times women, because, and this is what I've been working on lately, choosing the right type of women. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times I would just choose women that were attractive, that I thought were attractive, sexually attractive, right? But I realized a lot of women there will expect different things from me because of my stature, because of where I've looked.
Mhm.
So they might not expect me to be as articulate or as smart as I am, right? So
Mhm.
they might think that I'm just going to be like, I guess, a big dumb guy or whatever, or that I'm not going to set boundaries because I'm spiritual. So it's like there's a lot of different things, or I'm just going to be soft and, so there's a lot of different things that I get a lot of different expectations, but usually I feel like women will want you to lead. They want you to take charge, but oftentimes they'll want you to take charge to the point. Some will want you to take charge to the point where they don't have to do anything.
Right.
Where
That.
they just don't have to do anything whatsoever. And if you empower that, which I've made a mistake of a couple of times, you empower that, you won't get I don't want to say the retribution, but you won't get what you need, because that person will be
Mm.
resting in their femininity so long that they'll forget what it's like to tie their own shoes, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Interesting perspective. I didn't think about it that way. It's because we're
Yeah.
beaten into submission to, oh yeah, what he wants, and oh yeah, be agreeable and be nice. And it's just like, but why?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're told to be led, but some people will lead you off a damn cliff,
Yeah.
especially if
For
you don't speak the
submission,
fuck up.
I think for
I think
submission, to submit to a man, submission, you have to have the man has to have a mission. Somebody got a mission, and if you don't have a mission, you got to have a mission.
that's
Because
right.
some men could be led too, And there's times where a woman should take charge in what she's good in and what her power is, and where a man should submit to that, right? If that's the way the mission. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, my perspective is that the man should have the capabilities and qualities of leadership in order for a woman to actually submit to that. And a
Mm-hmm.
man that is able to, that you do want to submit, is going to tell you, look, you're good at this, do this, or you're good at that. It's going to empower you in some way, shape, or form, which is going to benefit the family and the relationship as a whole.
And it's going to benefit you as an individual too, right? Like, I think
Fact.
things that I have learned in relationships even when I was doing things I didn't really want to do, I knew even though I'm doing something that I feel like I don't want to do, it's benefiting me to do this. I'm learning something from this level of submission. And I learned in that experience because I have a North Node in Aries with Saturn and Chiron in Aries. So I'm very powerful and I am a leader. And what I've discovered, if I'm in company with men who where I don't see myself and I don't feel the confidence to be myself, my energy will collapse and I just adhere to what they want because that's it feels like that's the thing that I should do. Um, so it's really learning, and I feel like I've lived long enough to know that it ebbs and flows. Everyone has the capacity to lead and everyone has the capacity to follow, and it happens at various times throughout your life. You're not all leader, you're not all follower, you're a little bit
That's
of
a
both
fact.
at various times.
Yeah. There's definitely been times where I've been in relationships and I haven't been the leader and I didn't even know what that was or how that would look in a relationship, you know.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
at the same time, like I wasn't raised in this era of the internet, so I didn't like demand submission or wasn't watching a million podcasts where I was expecting someone to submit to me and I didn't know
Hmm.
what I was doing. There's a lot of men who like all they do is work a job and they expect their women to submit to that. And it's like, nah, that's not what's going to happen if you're not displaying that in the household and you're not displaying that in other areas. Like it's not just enough to have a good job and make a certain amount of money or even have your own business and make a certain amount of money and expect a woman to just follow you just because of that. Like what are your qualities, you know? Are you able to tap into her energies, her needs, her wants when she's sensitive, when she's going through her cycles and things like that? Like, you know, it has to be holistic. And a lot of what we're missing nowadays in relationships, what I think is going back to the Libra energy, is that balance, that things being holistic. Like sex is necessary, but it's holistic. Like, is the woman that you're with coming? Like, are you making her come? You know what I'm saying? Because the money is good, but if you ain't making her come, she gonna have an attitude regardless. You
And
know what I'm
she
saying? I
will
don't care
find
what
somebody who
you bring
will.
to the table. You know? And that's a science. That's something you got to study. You got to read and research. Like if you're a man, you can't just take that off porn. There's a science to that too. To whether it's tantra or whatever, there's a science to that. That helps relationships. Believe it or not, you know.
and and it helps heal the body, right? So
Yeah,
if you're having conscious intimate sex, it helps heal your body, it helps grow your money, it helps create your reality. It's energy, it's power, and when you understand that and you're using it for that, then both of you begin to flourish. But you have to everybody has to understand their strengths and weaknesses and understand that you're not there. Whatever attracted you, there's a greater purpose than just you look good and you got a big ass or you have make a lot of money. There's some other reason that brings you together. And when you begin to be curious about that and honor that, then your gifts and what you can be together begin to express themselves. But you have to spend the time to get to know yourself, to know what you bring to another.
yeah. Every relationship
Interesting.
is a way for you to grow yourself too.
Yes,
Every
that's right.
relationship that you're in, good or bad, is
Yeah,
designed to help you grow in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just a lesson on what not to do moving forward. And until you learn that lesson, you're going to keep meeting the same partner over and over to
that's
teach it to
right.
you
That's right. Because
over
that's
and
who
over
you are.
and over.
You're going to
Yeah,
continue to attract who you are
yeah,
until you become somebody else.
that's a fact. That's a fact. All right, ladies. Anything else that you guys want to give to the people?
I think we covered a lot today. This was great.
This was a good. This was one of the classics, definitely. Oh, Super
Oh,
T Podcast. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it so
yeah.
much. Thank you
I
so much. Thank you so much.
have one other thing. I feel like we haven't talked about Chiron as a part of this eclipse
Mhm.
season.
Right.
Y'all,
Because that's the wet blanket.
Hmm.
no, we can't talk. If Chiron, I don't even, all I need to know, just say, is go study Chiron. Chiron is this energy that's in Aries right now, which means it's opposing Libra. And Chiron is an energy that they call it the wounded healer. And the wound is like the wound of your lifetime. It's the thing that is your greatest um, obstacle. Let's say it that way. And it's super subtle. So you could miss it if you're not clear. And so it's super subtle. So Chiron in Aries is the wound to the self. What it creates is not trusting yourself, not believing in yourself, not being able to assert yourself, um, not knowing who you are, not not feeling beautiful, not like, because Aries is the self, right? So it's all the ways that we doubt ourselves. And we have the North Node there. So those things might be coming up. Not they might, they are. They are coming up. Like right? So those things are up and they're going to be up. So pay attention to them and watch how you have allowed that energy to keep you handicapped, to keep you fearful, to keep you fearful of asserting yourself, being yourself, trusting yourself, right? The fear of the self. And that is the energy that it's very important that we acknowledge that in this, because it, like you said, it's the wet blanket. It's much more.
Right. But I love that you say it's subtle because I think that a lot of times when people think eclipse in a sign like Libra, you're
Mhm.
probably thinking that this is going to highlight like an abusive relationship or it's going to highlight a relationship that's really not working. No, it may say, hey, every time you have a conversation with your partner, you kind of lie a little bit because you don't like how he may respond to you. Or
Mhm.
you have this insecurity about how you look. So you don't like wearing jeans in front of your partner, or you
Mhm.
don't that's how that shit plays out. And guess what? That
Mhm.
snowballs. So
Yeah.
before you know it, you're not wearing anything that you like, or you're not being truthful about anything because you're just like it snowballs. And that snowball is what's gonna hit you in the face at this eclipse. It's not going to be that, like I said, you had a knockout drag out fight with your partner, although that could be the case depending on your particular composition. But it's like all those little insecurities that you've been ignoring. Guess what? This person is going to come and dump them on you at this time.
Mhm.
Or they're just going to straight up leave you and you have no idea why. Well, it's because you weren't being yourself. I mean, it could be for other reasons. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to victim blame either by saying it's all your fault. However, relationships are a reflection of us. So pay attention to those little things that you haven't paid attention to or that you overlook or you think, oh, they don't really mean anything. If you've been in a relationship with someone for a long time, guess what? That insecurity is a part of your relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually posted this. That's funny. I posted this yesterday on Facebook. But I said, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're not 100% free, you're not in a relationship, you're in a prison.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because if you're not free and you're with someone, that is literally a prison. That's like an in-house prison. You want to be with somebody where you could be 100% yourself. Whatever your quirks are, whatever it is that seems weird, that's uh acceptable, whatever it is, even in the bedroom, like whatever it is that you like sexually, those are things you should be able to explore with your partner unapologetically. And if you can't, then you're not in the right relationship, and you really need to analyze that, because that is a relationship with yourself. And it's not just a relationship with your spirit, it's a relationship with your soul, your true essence of who you are, right? The true source of your power is your soul. Your soul is what powers your spirit. Your soul is what attracts you to anything spiritual. So your relationship and the intimate relationships you have, even your close friends, those people, you should be able to be yourself. And it's not saying you're going to agree with everything, right? And everything's going to be kumbaya, but you yourself should be able to be yourself, and that person should have some sort of understanding that this is who you're going to be and accept you for who you are. And
Mhm.
that's also part of that Libra balance.
So I'm going to
Mhm.
add one more thing. So if you have a subtle pattern that hijacks your energy, like a thought, because that's how Chiron comes in. Like um, I have, because I have Chiron in Aries, I can be really insecure, but people can't see it. But I know it because I know my inner thoughts are feeling like, oh, I don't measure up, or oh, I shouldn't have said that. Like you guys earlier, I was apologizing, right? Self doubt. It's just a function. So what I will do is I will recognize that, get clear about it, do some journaling about it, and then do a ritual on it. I'll do a spiritual bath on it. I'll do um, some ritual blood work. Like I might collect my moon blood and give thanks to the earth for taking that pattern away from me and put a crystal in like a rose quartz for self-love, and then bury that moon blood in the earth with the crystal, with the affirmation. And what I'm doing is I'm shedding that pattern. I'm doing a ritual to acknowledge that pattern, and I'll do it on a particular day at a particular moon time, right? Like I will do it at a time of releasing. So I'll do it at like the waning gibbous or the waning crescent, so that I'm really aligned with the new energies. And so I just wanted to share, how do we actually change these patterns that you can
Mhm.
barely see? Okay, that they're just in you because they got planted in you when you were a child. You notice your life, you see the story that you're telling yourself about somebody else, and then you see, where am I in that? How am I participating in this? And then you once you see how you're participating, then you do the ritual on that, and then you start changing that energy.
I
Thank
love
you for
that.
the donation, Straight Panther. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you ladies. I want to say this. This is an interesting story. I don't know why Spirit's telling me to say this.
Mhm.
So there was a woman on my Instagram feed, and she had took out, like, she was working with her period blood, and she had it like in a jar.
Mhm.
And it was so powerful that I could feel it from the screen. Like, I could feel the energy of whatever work she was doing with that blood. I could feel it. So I would say, women, definitely with your menses, use that energy. Put it on your petitions, like put some in your candles. Definitely use that blood, because it's a different resonance
Yes, it is.
that is than it's ever been. And a lot of people don't know how to use that. Even if partners, if you got, your wives and all that, hey, take some of that blood. If you know she's living a certain lifestyle and it's powerful, take some of that blood and utilize it for your needs and your benefits as well, and for your manifestations, because it's magnetic. Blood is magnetic. It's iron. It has a magnetic force to it. So us being inside these spiritual channels, right? We want to be able to attract that which we need to get ahead. And sometimes what you need is a change of behavior too. Like, don't just limit it to material things. Like, what character do you need to change? What fears do you need to let go? You know what I'm saying? What chakras do you need to heal? Like, look into those things and ask for those things in your petitions and your wishes and your manifestations, because those wisdom is really going to get you the furthest out of everything. Like, I ask for wisdom all the time. Whatever I ask for a dose of wisdom with it,
Mm.
because A, that's how you're going to keep it, and B, that's how you're going to learn how to attract more, and where you're going to go to channel more of that energy for yourself. So yeah, very very powerful work. Yeah, that period blood piece is super powerful. Also, another thing, for these moons in particular, you want to do some moon gazing, right? With these eclipses, this full moon, right? There's eclipse coming up on the 8th. You want to do some moon gazing. When you look at the moon, visualize that energy coming into your eyes. Visualize yourself pulling in that energy, and then after a while, visualize that energy circulating. So from the moon back, from it back to you, back and forth. And you will feel yourself charged up. You will feel that energy coming into you. You will feel that power coming into you. And have a visualization on hand on what you're trying to manifest, where you're trying to go, in the direction you're trying to go. In the same way. But not only material, physical, but also spiritual, your essence, what you're trying to change and what habits you're trying to overcome. And I think that's it. Ladies, queens, goddesses. There's been a lot of feedback in the chat about how they could tap into your services. So you guys should have some new clientele, new people that need your help, healing, and love. So tell them where they could find you.
For me, you can find me at divinefeminineworks.com. Divine Feminine Works on YouTube. I do weekly and monthly live astral forecast. I'm also getting ready to do my first workshop, which is going to be on how to read your natal chart. And that's going down on April 10th. That information is on my social media, it's on my website. So definitely tap into that. It's going to be dope. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Mm. I am Monique Ruffin. You can find me at healwithmoonmama.com or moniqueruffin.com. You can also find me on the Mighty Networks app. My community there is called Follow the Sun. So you go to Mighty Networks, you download their app, and you look for Follow the Sun, and you can. That is the community that I co-founded and facilitate. And any like Facebook, Instagram, Monique Ruffin, and TikTok, Moon Mama 639.
Yes, excellent, excellent. And I want to say one last thing before we get out of here. This particular full moon is coming up in Libra is going to be 3 a.m. Eastern. So whatever time zone you're in, this might be a good time to wake up. I'm going to be doing it. Do some meditation. Go within, seek answers, ask questions, visualize, plant seeds, bring something forward. Do something new. Take a risk. Step out of your comfort zone this week. Do something that you've never done before. Right? Just start there. And then you'll start to unfold other areas of courage, which is this particular energy. With that being said, my name is Rob Blackstorm. Have Divine Feminine Works, Monique Buffin the Move Mama. We are out. Have a great Sunday. Peace, power, and prosperity to all of you. One love.
Peace.
Thank you.